Okay, so we heard about how we actually do not know how we're not the body. We heard about the influence the false ego has over us every day, every single day, and how it protects itself by, how we allowing it to protect itself by engaging in false ego patterns of behavior. How our mind is hijacked by the false ego to threaten us, to distract us from our goals, only in self-defense of the false ego, because it doesn't want to die. So we are faced with those aspects when we approach the topic of men and women. But there's another aspect, and that's actually we become aware how little we trust Krishna, how little we trust Srila Prabhupada, how little we trust Krishna's system. In Krishna's system, what we will find out, everyone is the winner. Everyone. We are the winner right now here in the material world. We can be as happy as we can be in the material world. And while we're here as happy as we can be, all our needs fulfilled, maybe not our wants, but our needs, after that time in the material world, we go back home, back to God. That's Krishna's system. It's facilitating both. Everyone, for everyone, no matter what body, no matter what age, everyone is the winner in Krishna's system. If we accept the system, if we understand the system and do our best to be within that system. Whereas if we have our own systems, our own concoctions, we want to win, but oftentimes others have to lose in order for us to win. And while we're trying to win, oftentimes we also lose. So our systems are not as perfect, it's not as complete, and most often, more often than not even fulfilling our own purpose properly, because oftentimes we do lose, and we have others lose. So that's our concoctions, our systems. And there is a clash between our conditioning, all the ideas and ideologies we carry, and then we're confronted with Krishna's system. And we still think we know better. Because the quality of the false ego is not to be humble, right? Humility is not the quality of the false ego. So we think we know better than Krishna. Instead of, okay, let's openly approach it and try to understand it. That's what we're confronted with as well in the process of hearing about spiritual culture, men, women, and so on. So the presentation, another thing it will not be, will not be about any roles we're meant to play in detail, the role of a husband, the role of a wife, or anything like that. I want to go to the very one principle behind it. So we're starting with the mechanics, simple mechanics, very obviously time is of the essence. It will be very selective. Topics like the nothing box. Some of you may know the nothing box, how the male brain works, right? It's from a seminar, Love Your Way to a Better Marriage by some Christian pastor. And I want to go a little bit deeper into that and add a little more things. And other topics like trampling upon the snake. I want to reveal a little bit about the workings of the male mind, how he wants to be the hero, and so on. And just a few mechanical things, because we all know men are like this, women are like this. But we don't really accept the differences. And we are judging others according to our own perception. And then obviously that's just like a breeding ground for misunderstandings and conflict. Right? So understanding those mechanics will help us avoid misunderstandings. And all those mechanics we're going to talk first about will lead then for us to understand the process of how the purification takes place. And that's quite different, because men are like this and women are like that. So the purificatory process is a little different depending on which body you're in. And from that whole understanding, there should be a few aha effects coming. We will realize actually how we're meant to cooperate. So both genders, everyone can win. How we're going home back to Godhead, and how important the role of women actually are for human society. In fact, there's a verse in the Manu Samhita that Guru, Acharya is so important. 10 times more important than Acharya is father, and 1,000 times more important than father is mother. So mother, and not only material, biological mother, the quality of mother is basically 10,000 times more important than Guru. And it's not Guru Aparat. But we have to understand it from the proper perspective. And that will hopefully become clear. Hopefully I'll be able to explain that in a nice way. It's empowering. That topic is empowering for everyone, no matter which body you're in. It's such an amazing topic, and which really helps us to overcome hang-ups we have, misconceptions we have. It helps us to avoid conflicts in our relationships, not just marriage relationship. If we understand those mechanics and how we are meant to cooperate. And we could leave it like this, but I think it's important because that topic really brings up so much stuff, buried in our hearts, what prevents us from going that route. So we will discuss a little bit about our social conditioning, one aspect of it, and about our personal experiences. That's another aspect of it, and other strategies we developed, which are ultimately working against us. All right. And then I want to do an exercise. Like I said, I'm not going in details about roles, simply because we don't know how to approach that topic properly. Right? But I will take from somewhere else that will be a surprise. And we'll do an exercise so we can see on a practical level how we apply what we have heard. So our ears remain open, our minds remain open when we hear certain things. Because usually, immediately, false ego goes on overdrive and we don't hear. So we want to keep. So the whole purpose of that presentation is to get really to the foundational understanding, an overview, how we're meant to cooperate, and then we can work with that, and hopefully it will affect our personal lives positively. Hopefully we can affect others' lives positively by deepening that understanding for us. And yes, I think I'll stop here. You have probably a good idea now what that weekend will be about. And it will be a whole day. It will be challenging. The mind will come up with excuses. Let's just have a nice time together, discussing, experiencing, reflecting. Let's finish up with kirtan and nice wood-fired pizza prasadam. Have a nice family day out of a different kind, a nice sangha, and then we'll see what comes. I'm sure everyone will get some positive takeaways for themselves, for their personal lives, and we'll just see how we go from there. Right? That's my proposition. You may ask, who am I? What do I know? I don't know anything. I simply try to understand Krishna's system to the best of my ability, from my own personal perception. I did some orienteering before. Orienteering is a sport where you run through the forest with a compass and a map, and you have to reach a certain point. And one time I was running through the forest, and there was on the map, I looked and the contour lines, how you describe hills and valleys on the map with those lines. And I looked and I thought, there is a big, long hill. And I just go anti-clockwise around it, get my bearing again at a certain spot, and then hit towards where I need to go. I was running through the forest and there was no hill. There was a big hole. And what did I do? I didn't sit down and cried and think, oh my God, I read the map wrong and I got everything wrong. No, I got nothing wrong. There's a little tick on the lines which showed where the slope is. And that tick can be anywhere. And you're running. You don't have time to look. But when you're there, you make a mental adjustment. Oh yeah, it's not a hill. It's a big hole. Let's go around it. Similar, anti-clockwise, get the bearing again and continue. And that's what I did. So I may not know all the details. I may not, but I know for sure once I'm there, the details will reveal themselves to me. The details will reveal themselves to us if we move in the right direction. So that's what I'm trying to give with according to my understanding, the general direction and some principles behind it. What to expect when we go that way. And then we will see. Yeah? Then the details will be revealed. And the direction, I'm sure about it. That's how proud I am. But, and I think we can derive lots of benefit to trying and go and make our own personal lives, spiritual and material, so much easier by trying to understand those concepts and become more and more aware of those aspects of false ego and how we're meant to cooperate. And that's why I want to invite you all for a different weekend, a different Sangha, something we usually don't hear so much, which may even be almost avoided because it's such a hot potato, that topic. But I don't care. When you're cooking a lot, you have tough fingers, and hot potatoes don't really burn yourself so much. So with that being said, I hope I could give you a nice introduction what it's about, a good idea what it will be about. I hope I could give you already some value, that you didn't waste your few minutes here listening to the different clips and to my rambling. So I hope I could give you some value, and I hope I see you all there on at New Varshana in one of the classrooms, which Dhammasetu Prabhu will hopefully facilitate us with in his capacity as the principal of the Hare Krishna school. So thank you again for your kind attention, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all there and for your association. Hare Krishna.